Welcome back to Good Day Oregon Home and Garden. I'm David Schmidtke. You know, this time of the year, it's a constant struggle to stay warm. And of course, part of that struggle when it comes to heating our home is saving some money. I think I found a product that can do both those things. It's called Warmboard. You're looking at Warmboard, and I'll tell you, this time of the year in this part of the country, warm's the operative word.
Except today.
This is David Brent with the heating specialist, and what is this stuff, man?
Well, this is incredible stuff. This is Warmboard. It's a structural subfloor with an aluminum top sheet on it with a groove in it that's made for radiant floor heating.
Okay.
And you know, it's a one-piece application in terms of floor. It goes down just like any floor framing does. We run the tubing in it. It's the Cadillac. It's the premium stuff for radiant floor heating.
Here's how this Cadillac works. A boiler will heat water, and pumps will send it through these tubes. It will produce a comfortable source of heat, the only source of heat that Scott Folker's new Westland home will have.
Well, first, you know, I kind of looked at the different options of heating and decided on Radiant. Just after walking around a few houses that had it in, it's pretty amazing. So then I looked at the different options I had. One being the concrete floor, and decided that there were some drawbacks to that in terms of heating and getting too hot in the afternoon and that kind of thing.
Folker is not your average homeowner. Not only is he acting as his own general contractor, but he's doing most of the subcontractor work himself, including installing the Warmboard.
It was pretty easy. It acts as the subfloor, so we put the joists in after we laid the foundation and screwed this down. It's 1 1/8" plywood with these grooves in it. So we just screw that down, and then the hardest part is being on your hands and knees, crawling around, and snapping it down into the floor. One of the things that Warmboard gives you is a plan that shows how each loop is connected.
Wow.
And in this house I've got 8 different zones, each one of those being a different color, so that I can heat each of those zones individually.
When it comes to the heart of the system, however, Scott is leaving that work to the pros, especially these cold compression copper fitting.
It's a crimp tool, and it's used to crimp these copper fittings to the pipe, and we just place it on the copper like so. Press the button, and that is not coming off there. It's solid.
Compared to traditional forms of home heating, Warmboard is more expensive to install. About double, actually. But when it comes to operating expenses...
Compared to a forced air furnace, for example, of the same efficiency as the boiler, they say 30 to 40% savings over that type of technology, and I think most of our customers would say that's what they're getting.
That's 30 or 40% in a year
time.
like this is huge.
And more comfortable because you're heating yourself from the bottom up instead of forced air where you heat yourself from the top down. And so you're a lot more comfortable, a lot less money to operate the system. And the components here last for a long time. I mean, much, much longer than furnace and ductwork. This house will probably disintegrate in 40, 50 years, and the tubing will still be here. You know, I don't think anybody thinks about payback when they buy a big screen TV. They buy it because it suits a certain need, and I think being comfortable in your house is probably one of the most important things you can do.
As I mentioned earlier, this week we're at Lacamas Lake, north of Camas. The lake is a fisher's paradise, with bass, bluegill, and perch available for the everyday angler. Closed to motorized boats, the lake also features all kinds of waterfowl for the avid birdwatcher. There is a 6-mile walking trail, and it's free, with no fees associated with visiting Lacamas Lake.